So what is up, guys? Brendan Suter back, and today I am here with NFL Divisional Round predictions. Last week I was 3 for 3, not my best performance. There were maybe some biases that I had going into that, although I still didn't expect the Chargers to blow that big of a lead. Anyways, doesn't matter. We got 4 matches to get to, so without further ado, let's get this video. So we are starting off with our very first divisional matchup between the 4-seeded Jacksonville Jaguars and the 1-seeded Kansas City Chiefs. Starting out with the Jaguars. Got to give you a lot of credit. Despite being down 27-0 to the LA Chargers, you ended up winning 31-30. I'm still super bitter because I picked the Chargers and they screwed me. So screw you, Brandon Staley. And we starting off, Trevor Lawrence, it wasn't his best game, threw for 288 yards, 4 touchdowns to 4 picks. All those picks came in the first half, but, outside of the rough first half, he did well. Lead rusher was Travis Etienne with 109 yards. Lead receiver, Evan Ingram, 7 receptions, 93 yards on a touchdown, followed by Christian Kirk, 8 receptions, 78 yards on a touchdown. Zay Jones, 8 receptions, 74 yards on a touchdown. And then finished it off, Marvin Jones Jr., 3 receptions, 29 yards, and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it really struggled in the first half, but at the same time, with how often you were turning the ball over on offense, the Chargers were just given way too many opportunities. But you clamped them down in the second half, so a lot of props out there. Moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a phenomenal regular season by you guys. Went 14-3, finished first in the AFC West and in the AFC. Patrick Mahomes is going to win himself another MVP. Threw for 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns to 12 picks. In terms of rushing, over the past couple of years, there's not really one headline back, but it was led by Isaiah Pacheco with 830 rush yards. You also have other guys like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, and Ronald Jones Jr. So once again, as long as one of them can be functional in the playoffs, you guys can make another good run. And in terms of receiving, who else but Travis Kelce would lead the core with 110 receptions for 1,338 yards and 12 touchdowns. You also had some other guys who played very well this season. Juju Smith-Schuster, 78 receptions for 933 yards and 3 touchdowns, as well as other guys like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, McCole Hardman, Justin Watson, Kadarius Toney, who was a late season addition, and of course, Jerick McKinnon. He's done very well as the receiving back for the team. Now, in terms of defense, honestly, it's been the way it's very similar to how it's been over the past few years, where they show flashes of brilliance, but ultimately they do have some of their down games. They can stop the run, but they have some issues with the secondary. Anyways, going into this, Kansas City, they are the heavy favorite. And once again, Jacksonville, it was a phenomenal run you made, but, you barely scraped out a victory against the Chargers. That kind of stuff, it's not going to work on the Kansas City Chiefs. So give me the Chiefs in this one. And now you have our very next matchup, a rematch of Miracle at the Meadowlands and a classic NFC East rivalry between the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Starting out with the Giants, a lot of people did have you as the big 6-3 upset. I was not one of them, but you shocked me, so excellent job out to you guys. Starting off, Daniel Jones played the game of his life. Possibly with how he played, he's going to make himself a lot of money in the offseason. So props out to him. He threw for 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was also Daniel Jones with 78 yards. Followed up with Saquon Barkley with 53 rush yards and 2 touchdowns. Good game for him. Lead receiver was actually Isaiah Hodgins, 8 receptions, 105 yards and a touchdown. Followed by Darius Slayton, 4 receptions, 88 yards. And then Saquon Barkley, 5 receptions, 56 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they had some trouble against the pass game of the Minnesota Vikings, but they completely clamped down on the run, so it was a phenomenal performance. And then with the Philadelphia Eagles, you finished first in the NFC this year. Very, very impressive performance. Starting off, Jalen Hurts had a great season. He's probably going to be MVP runner-up as he threw for 3,701 yards, 22 touchdowns to 6 picks. Once again, they got a full kind of running back by committee, led by Miles Sanders with 1,269 yards. Nice. And 11 touchdowns, but of course, Jalen Hurts carries his own with 706 yards and 13 touchdowns on the year. But also, you got some other guys like Kenneth Gainwell and Boston Scott. Once again, full running back by committee. And then the receiving core, led by A.J. Brown. I knew when you traded for A.J. Brown, it was a spectacular move, and it paid off in spades as he had 88 receptions for 1,496 yards and 11 touchdowns. Devontae Smith also had a phenomenal season, 95 receptions for 1,196 yards and 7 touchdowns. We also have some other good receivers like Zach Pascal, Quez Watkins, and Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert, absolute dog. The defense has been actually very good this year. They did have a bit of a light schedule, so there were some times where they were easily able to shut down other opponents, but nonetheless, great season by Philly in general. And once again, some people are calling for a Giants upset here, but I just don't see it. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles that they go on to the NFC Championship game. And now you have our very next matchup, what I think is going to be game of the week between the 4-seeded Cincinnati Bengals and the 2-seeded Buffalo Bills. Starting off with the Bengals. You won 24-17 over the Ravens, although I expected a little bit more. You looked a little suspect last week, but so did the Bills. I'll get to them later. Joe Burrow played solid with 209 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Really got nothing going on in the rush game as Joe Mixon led rushing with 39 yards and Joe Burrow had 9 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver Jamar Chase does what he does best, scorches defenses with 9 receptions, 84 yards and a touchdown. Follow that up with Hayden Hurst, 4 receptions, 45 yards, and then T. Higgins, 4 receptions, 37 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, it struggled. There were a lot of struggles that they had against Tyler Huntley and the Ravens, and they nearly fell short, but they just fell at the victory. And then the Bills, I know I said the Bengals were somewhat fraudulent, but you nearly lost the Miami Dolphins, led by Skylar Thompson. Josh Allen, not his best game, 352 yards, 3 touchdowns, but to 2 picks. His decision-making can be a bit of an issue at times. Lead rusher was Devin Singletary with 48 yards, followed by James Cook with 39 yards and a touchdown. Lead receiver, who else but Stephon Diggs, 7 receptions, 114 yards, followed by Gabriel Davis, 6 receptions, 113 yards and a touchdown. And then Khalil Shakir, 3 receptions, 51 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense nearly lost to Skylar Thompson. That is still a very tough pill to swallow. Now, the key to Buffalo, obviously just limit the mistakes that you have on offense, because if Josh Allen is turning the ball over like he had in the last game, you guys aren't going to win. And for the Cincinnati Bengals, abuse that 3-headed monster in Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins, because when all 3 of those guys are clicking, it's pretty hard to stop them. Bills, they're going to be favorites to win this one, and I'm sorry, Bengals, you had a great run, but give me the Buffalo Bills. Now you have our final divisional matchup, a rematch of the 1982 NFC Championship game between the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers, most famously known for Dwight Clark and the catch. Starting off with the Dallas Cowboys, a strong 31-14 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dak Prescott played phenomenal, threw for 305 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Lead rusher was Tony Pollard with 77 yards. Zeke was rough, only could muster up 27 yards. Lead receiver Dalton Schultz, 7 receptions, 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. Followed by CeeDee Lamb, 4 receptions, 68 yards and a touchdown. And then Michael Gallup, 5 receptions, 46 yards and a touchdown. That was pretty much it. And the defense, yes, you shut down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they were frauds. I know I picked them last week, but ultimately they were frauds. They only made it in the playoffs because of how bad the NFC South was, and they got exposed. So it's a win, so props that to you, but wake me up when you beat an actual contender. And then the San Francisco 49ers pulled out a 41-23 victory over the Seattle Seahawks. Brock Purdy, great game, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He did have a bit of an iffy first half, but other than that, played very well. Lead rusher Christian McCaffrey with 119 rush yards. Only guy to have a rushing touchdown actually was Brock Purdy. Lead receiver Deebo Samuel, 6 receptions, 133 yards, and a touchdown. Followed by Brandon Ayuk, 3 receptions, 73 yards, and then Jawan Jennings, 2 receptions, 41 yards. That was pretty much it. And the defense, they were pretty iffy against the Seattle Seahawks in the first half, but in the second half, you just turned it up. So key to victory for Dallas, try to establish a pass game because the Niners, they do well against the run. They don't do as well against the pass, and Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are going to get shut down, and Dak Prescott has to play another great... So key to victory, do well. So key to victory for the Dallas Cowboys, do well in the passing game because the Niners, they have a great run defense, and they're a little shaky in the secondary, so Zeke and Pollard are going to get aren't really going to get much. And Dak Prescott, he's going to have to continue to stay strong in the pass game because if he struggles like he had in the regular season, it's over. And for the Niners, once again, just let the big dogs eat, whether that's Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle. Once again, Brock Purdy does not have to be Superman. As long as he just allows those guys to get the ball, Niners are going to win this game. And also, Dallas has had their struggle against the run this year. So, yeah, maybe just allow Christian McCaffrey to run all over them. Niners, clear favorites to win this one. I'm going to say that they pull off the victory like they did in the 1982 NFC Championship game. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to watch my wildcard picks, click right over here. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe to my channel by clicking over here, or the subscribe button down below. Comment down below what your thoughts were. Who's your upset of the week? Lock of the week? Is your favorite team even still in it? Follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at Brendan Suter. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation, still pissed that we missed the playoffs because we would have gotten our asses kicked by Dallas as opposed to the Bucks, is out.